Michael, what really stood out to me, man, from watching our highlight video was just your strength of just when you would get guys, and I know this being your first year playing center, okay, it takes a little bit to learn, okay, just especially that position, all right. And from what I can tell, you did a great job, but I could just tell from your strength, you've got the strength that you can manhandle guys a little bit, and it's just learning more and more how we can improve upon that and use that to our advantage, okay. Now, my suggestions for your highlight video are the following, okay? The first thing is to add an information slide at the very beginning, all right? And the best way to go about doing this is to go on Canva, okay? And it's free, and you'll go on there and you'll add the information of your name, school, graduation year, position, height and weight, X account, email, and phone number, okay? Now, you'll go on there, you put that information on the left of the slide, put a picture of you on the right, download that, and then upload that to the very first thing on your highlight video, okay? Now, we want to do this kind of for multiple reasons. First thing is so a college coach, boom, as soon as he pulls up your film, all the information he needs is right there, okay? But secondly is that a college coach's time is so short and valuable. If they have to go try to find that information, they might pass on you. Okay, and I personally have had to do this because I kind of look for it. I liked the kid, tried to find him on X, couldn't find him, tried to get his phone number, couldn't track it down. It's just one of those like I can't spend any more time on this because I got other kids I got to watch. Okay, when you got 60 to 100 kids in a day to watch, it kind of makes it tough. All right, so we want to make it as easily as possible for them and not hinder you in that stance. Okay, next, remove the background sounds on some of the plays. Okay, because we don't want to have anything that's going to distract that college recruiter from evaluating your film. All right, these guys, they sit in dark rooms, they watch 60 to 100 kids in a day, lamps on, and they got their just own music playing, and they're just in a zone. Okay, they just get in a zone and they just watch kid after kid after kid, and we don't want to be your film to be the one that kind of throws them out of that zone. Okay, or makes them take a break or something like that, and that's what we're trying to do here. All right, now moving on to the order of plays. All right, from your evaluation, I saw that you had put in there that you had done defense before. Okay, so how I would start this off, all right, is you want to put all your offensive clips first, and then if you have any recent defensive clips, okay, they don't want defensive clips from the past. They want the most recent year. Okay, they don't want like sophomore, freshman year clips. They want the most recent. So with that being said, if you have some next year, add those in. All right. If not, then just stick with the offensive clips. All right. They want the actual film. They want to be able to see it visibly. Okay. They want the most recent. So just I kind of got that on here for future reference. Or if you have clips from this year, you can do that as well. Just combine that. All right. And so, but you want to do your offense and then your defense. So that way, if a defensive coach pulls up a film, he knows I can go to this point in the film and boom, I can jump right to where I need to be and see what I want to see. Okay. They don't have to watch the offense and then defense. All right. They can just go to there and boom, they're good with that side of it. Okay. Now, going to the sequence of plays within your order of plays. Okay, so for the offensive side, as an offensive lineman, you want to do all your run blocking clips first, okay, and then your pass blocking clips. All right. Now, with that being said, within these sections, you want to put your top plays first and then taper from there. Okay. So what I've done is I put what I believe needs to be your top 5 offensive run plays right here. Okay, you blocking, doing different things, stuff like that, and then you can go from there. All right. Next, if you've got pass blocking clips, put those here. Okay, just want to make sure we got good technique, and then for future side, like we're talking about, if you get more defensive reps, you can put those here with the turnovers, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, and if you got sacks, TFLs, and the remaining defensive highlight, which is more not necessarily a statistical side of like this stuff, but still showcases what you can do well. All right, maybe you got to get off a block and you can make a tackle a couple yards downfield type of deal. All right, one of those things. That's what we're looking for here. Okay. So that's how I would set it up for the future. And the reason we want to have our best plays in each section to start off is because we want to capture that coach's attention early and keep them watching. All right. Like I said, when they're watching so many kids, sometimes they give a time limit or a few plays, and that's about all they'll do. Okay. So we got to put our best plays first. So to show you these plays I've got here for you, starting at the 14-second mark. All right. Great job. Boom. The physicality, violence. That's what they want to see. Using your strength. They want to see pancakes from the offensive standpoint. Okay. So great job there. Next, going to the next play after this, the 18-second, 19-second mark here. Okay. Boom. We're going again, same thing, showing that strength. Okay, you got the guy stood up, keep driving, but you just threw him down. All right, the great job there. Now jump into the 119 mark. All right, going to this one here. Okay, what we're looking for, boom, getting your feet moved. Okay, getting that guy sealed off after the snap. They're looking at your feet, they're looking at your hands, they're looking at your hips, your flexibility. They're looking at all different kinds of things. So you want to show them as much as we can, as good as we can. All right, next we want to move to the 141 mark. Okay, to go to this next clip. All right, being able to get to the second level here. Okay, boom. We don't take the first guy, but we have to take the second guy. How do we take him? All right, getting physical with him, throwing him to the ground. And then we'll back up to the 38-second mark. All right, and from here, okay, same thing. We're driving the guy backwards now. We're not kind of getting stalemated. We're still driving him, right? Those are things they're kind of looking for. How's our pad level? All that stuff, okay? So that's why I put those in the order I did. And like I said, tape from there, keep going with your film, and then build on it as you go, okay? So add that information slide, remove the background sound. If you have defensive clips, make sure you have them in the right order, offense first and then defense, okay? Then go into your sequence of plays, all right? Run blocking, then your pass blocking, and then if you've got the defensive clips like we're talking about, then you can set them up in those sections there, okay? Overall, your film, you want it to be 3 to 4 to 5 minutes if you've got the clips for it. Okay, I'm just saying that because your defense. I don't want you to get too long if you've got defense clips from this year and it gets too long on that. Okay, so make sure we're there. All right. And with that being said, overall, let's provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target. I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do, and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now. I want you to understand that this is a current evaluation opposed to projected evaluation off the film we just watched. All right, not just like not having the defensive clips, anything like that. So that's how they do it. They go off of what they've got right here, okay, the most recent stuff. And with that being said, there's a few criteria. First thing is the graduation year, okay, and this is your time. We need to make sure we're doing things right, improving, getting communication out, and everything else, okay. But at the same time, they're going to look at your size, your foot speed, your flexibility, and your power and strength. All right. And with that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are D3 and NAIA. Now, you should start getting interest from these schools and possibly offers, okay, from these college coaches at these levels. If not, you need to start the communication process with these coaches through emailing them and calling them right now. Okay. Now's the time that they're looking for 2027 kids, so you got to get on their radar. You need to make sure you're marketing and branding yourself in the correct way, but you also need to start getting your name out there through social media. Okay. Follow these coaches on X. DM them your highlight video. Okay. DM them. That's going to be huge for you, okay? Because you need to know whether or not these coaches like your film. Because if they like your film, then let's go to their prospect camp, okay? And that takes me to my next point with the prospect camps. When you go to these things, okay, you can introduce yourself to these coaches easier. You can build that relationship, all right? Because you need to be looking at prospect camps this summer, and you need to be looking at O-line, bigs, O-line, D-line camps, okay? That's really going to help out with just fundamentals, and then also sometimes coaches are there. So make sure we're going to those ones, not just necessarily the all prospect camps. Some camps have like an O-line, D-line camps for colleges. Okay, make sure we're looking at those as well. That will really help us out. All right, but when you do that, okay, they're going to remember some of that stuff that you do at camp. When you sometimes go to these small ones instead of the mega ones. All right, you can start building that relationship. They can remember seeing you do things, doing drills and stuff like that. So when you send them that mid-season highlight, they're going to know who they're watching and have that relationship with you and remember you and stuff. Okay, but here's the deal: how can we also attack these levels and get better? Okay, my suggestion to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. First thing is strength and power. All right. Hitting the weight room hard is going to focus on your strength training, adding good weight to your frame, because you've got to be able to explore to that stance, okay? You've got to be able to drive the D-line back who's wanting to drive you back, okay? Making sure we're hitting squats, quick twitch stuff, explosive single leg, okay? That's what we're working on. Flexibility-wise, pre- and post-training stretching. You guys don't do this as a team. You've got to do this on your own, all right? It's going to be part of the individual work that you got to do, okay? And this stretching is going to help improve your pad level in run and pass, all right? But here's the deal, too. This also helps prevent injury, because your best ability is your availability. If you're dinged up and nicked up over this year, that's going to hurt your chance of video, which will then hurt your chance of an offer. If you're dinged up and nicked up in college, that hurts your chance on the depth chart. All right, so you've got to make sure we're taking care of our body. Next, foot speed. Okay, we're using dot drills, ladder drills, working on some kick and post pass pro drills. All right, the old school saying, the feet as quick as a hiccup, is it for an offensive line? All right, that's what we got to strive for. You should really have the second fastest feet on the team, because you got to be able to beat that D line with your first step. Okay, just like you showed the one there where you reach the guy. Okay, when we snap, you're the one that's making the first move out of anybody out there. Okay, for the ball, when the ball snapped. All right, you got to be with that first step. Working on O-line technique development. Okay, stance, footwork, and hand accuracy, the fundamentals. You're going to work on these details all the time in the college drills. Okay, got to have a good development of them. All right, that way you can. It's going to help you on your place on the depth chart later on when you're playing in college ball. Okay, but here's the deal: the offensive line coaches don't just look at team film in practice. The O-line coaches will watch individual drills. Okay, I've seen it happen everywhere I've been. They watch more film than anybody else. Okay. And so you've got to make sure we've got a good development of these and good technique on these, because they're going to be looking for that stuff. Okay, so that's just going to help us out in the long run, because these improvements are what an O-line college coach will look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard, and if it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation and possibly have an opportunity at that D2 level. But Michael, at the end of the day, everything will come down to your individual work, your outreach, as well as your marketing on social media, and your relationship building with college coaches, which is why the next step is your athlete interview. We're going to get an interview with the coach and get coached on communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversations about to start having with college coaches. So make sure you watch the video beforehand and be ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.